Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome you to the second annual Evening in History. Our program tonight is a commemoration of World War I on the 100th anniversary of the outbreak of the conflict. The Great War lies like a band of scorched earth dividing that time from ours, historian Barbara Tuckman said. Through historical speech and song, our goal is to educate, to acknowledge, to inspire, to reflect, and most of all, to tell the story of that time and that place. Many thanks to the social studies and music departments, as well as the drama club at Niskayuna High School. Quickly, special acknowledgement to Mr. Eric Hughes from music, Pete Warren and Mike Peters from social studies, Brian O'Connor, who's jack of all trades, and a special thank you from me to my collaborator, Ms. Christina Zino Catalano. Without them, this evening would not have come together. We start with a clip from the World War I series produced by the British Broadcasting Company. Its initial air date was 1996.
These hearts were woven of human joys and cares, washed marvelously with sorrow, swift to mirth. The years had given them kindness, dawn was theirs, and sunset and the colors of the earth. These had seen movement and heard music, known slumber and waking, loved, gone proudly friended, felt the quick stir of wonder, sat alone, touched flowers and furs and cheeks. All this is ended. There are waters blown by changing winds to laughter, and lit by the rich skies all day, and after, frost, with a gesture, stays the waves that dance and wandering loveliness. He leaves a white, unbroken glory and gathered radiance. A width, a shining peace under the night.
There's the girl who clips your ticket for the train, and the girl who squeezes the lift from floor to floor. There's the girl who does the milk round in the train, and the girl who calls for orders at your door. Strong, sensible, and fit, they're out to show their grit and tackle jobs with energy and knack. No longer caged and penned up, they're going to keep their end up, till the khaki soldier boys come marching back. There's the motor girl who drives a heavy van. There's the butcher girl who brings her joint of meat. There's the girl who calls, "All fares, please," like a man, and the girl who whistles taxis up the street. Beneath each uniform beats a heart that's soft and warm. Though of canny mother wit they show no lack, but a solemn statement that is. They've no time for love and kisses, till the khaki soldier boys come marching back.
5 months after the outbreak of the war, on Christmas Day 1914, soldiers from both sides of the conflict came out of the trenches to exchange presents, chat, sing, bury their dead, and kick around their soccer ball. Though not along the entire trench line, which stretched from the North Sea to the Swiss frontier with France, it is estimated that around 100,000 men, mostly British and German, took part in the so-called Christmas truce. We present 3 first-hand accounts from soldiers, as well as 2 popular Christmas songs and hymns that date from the 18th and 19th centuries. Workman, Mike Makutonin, will present accounts from the soldiers. The choir, chorale, and ladies' first group will perform Still a Night, Silent Night, and Come All Ye Faithful. The first presentation is from Sergeant Major Frank Davey. On Christmas Day, one of the Germans came out of the trenches and held his hands up. Our fellows immediately got out theirs, and we met in the middle, and for the rest of the day, we fraternized, exchanging food, cigarettes, and souvenirs. The Germans gave us some of their sausages, and we gave them some of our stuff. The Scotsmen started the bagpipes, and we had a rare old jollification, which included football, in which the Germans took part. The Germans expressed themselves as being tired of the war and wished it was over. They greatly admired our equipment and wanted to exchange jackknives and other articles. Next day, we got an order that all communication on the frontier course with the enemy must cease, but we did not fire all that day, and the Germans did not fire us.
astonishing account of Christmas Day in the trenches. It's dated December 27th. At last I have found the time to answer all your letters. Well, dear, you asked me to let you know what kind of Christmas I had. Well, I never had a merry one because we were in the trenches, but we were quite happy. Now, what I'm going to tell you will be quite hard to believe, but it is quite true. There was no firing on Christmas Day, and the Germans were quite friendly with us. They even came over to our trenches and gave us cigars and cigarettes and chocolate, and of course, we gave them things in return. Just after 1 o'clock on Christmas morning, I was on lookout duty, and one of the Germans wished me good morning and a Merry Christmas. I was never more surprised in my life when daylight came to see them all sitting on top of the trenches, waving their hands and singing to us. Just before we came out of the trenches, we came out of them on Christmas night. One of them shouted across, "Keep your heads down, we're just going to fire," and they sent about a dozen bullets flying over the top of our heads. Now, who would believe it if they did not see it with their own eyes? It is hard enough for us to believe. What kind of Christmas did you have? I do hope you enjoyed yourself. I thought of you a good many times. I don't expect it was much of a Christmas in England. I haven't received Mother's parcel yet. I wonder what has become of it. I've had some eatables, but they were nowhere near as good as Mother's.
Be faithful, joyful and triumphant, O come ye
B. Calder of the 6 Gordons at the front, writing to Miss Fuller at the BWTA T-shirt in St. Louis, Bedford, says, Dear Miss Fuller and other assistants of the little T-shirt, just a few lines to tell you how we're all keeping. The 6 have been to the trenches twice, and a good few of them had to go to the hospital through the cold and exposure. They are hardly fit for this work. We were in the trenches on Christmas Day. We spent a merrier day than we expected. There was a truce to bury our dead. We had a short service over the graves, conducted by our minister and the German. They read the 23rd Psalm and had a short prayer. I don't think I will ever forget the Christmas that I spent in the trenches. After the service, we were speaking to the Germans and getting souvenirs from them. Fancy shaking hands with the enemy. I suppose you will hardly believe this, but it is the truth. I often think about the little tea shop and wonder how you're getting on. Long may the chimney smoke at our little tea shop.
John McCrae was a Canadian surgeon. Neither man survived the war. Sorely, in the 37 poems he had completed, were found on his person on the battlefield of Loos in October 1915. Loos was also the place, final resting place, if you will, of the son of Rudyard Kipling, John Kipling. McCrae died in 1918. His famous poem is believed to be a tribute to a friend and former student who had perished at Ypres in 1915. The poem is also credited with the inspiration for adopting the poppy as the symbol of remembrance. Here to present When You See Millions of the Mouthless Dead and In Flanders Fields are Kathleen Taylor and Amy Burns.
When you see millions of the mouthless dead, across your dreams pale battalions go. Say not soft things, as other men have said, that you'll remember, for you need not so. Give them not praise, for death, how should they know it is not curses heaped on each gashed head? Nor tears, their blind eyes see not your tears flow. Nor honor, it is easy to be dead. Say only this, they are dead. Then add thereto, yet many a better one has died before. Then, scanning all the o'ercrowded mass, should you perceive one face that you loved heretofore? It is a spook. None wears the face you knew. Great death has made all his forevermore.
In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row. That mark our place, and in the sky the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard among the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
To end part one, 2 musical numbers, Ilane by Maurice Ravel, and the band played Waltzing Matilda, a folk song written to commemorate the Australian dead at the Battle of Gallipoli. The French-born Ravel volunteered for service and was a truck driver stationed at the Verdun front. Ilane is a pre-war composition. His work turned darker as a result of his wartime experiences. Singer-songwriter Eric Boyle borrowed the melody from Waltzing Matilda, from Australia's most widely known folk song.
a young man I carried a pack, and I lived the free life of a rover. From the Murray's green basin to the dusty outback, well, I waltzed my Matilda all over. Then in 1915, the country said, son, it's time you stopped roving, there's work to be done. So they gave me a tin hat and they gave me a gun. And they sent me away to the war. And the band played Waltzing Matilda as the ship pulled away from the quay. And amidst all the tears, the flag waving and cheers, we sailed off to Gallipoli.
How well I remember that terrible day, how the blood stained the sand and the water, and how in that hell that they called Solva Bay, we were butchered like lambs to the slaughter. Johnny Tuck, he was waiting, he primed himself well. They rained us with bullets and showered us with shells, and in 10 minutes flat, he'd blown us to hell. Nearly blew us right back to Australia. But the band played Waltzing Matilda as we stopped to bury the slain. And we buried ours, and the Turks buried theirs. Then we started all over again.
And those that were left, well, we tried to survive in that mad world of death, blood, and fire. And for nearly 10 weeks I kept myself alive, though around me the corpses piled higher. Then a big Turkish shell knocked me arse overhead, and when I woke up in my hospital bed, I saw what it had done, and I wished I was dead. Didn't know there were worse things than dying, for I'll go no more waltzing Matilda, all around the wild bush far and free. To set up tents and pegs, a man needs both his legs, no more waltzing Matilda for me.
And they gathered the sick and the crippled and maimed, and they sent us back home to Australia. The armless, the legless, the blind and insane, the brave wounded heroes of Solva. And as our ship pulled into the circular quay, I looked at the stumps where my legs used to be, and thank Christ there was nobody waiting for me to grieve, to mourn and pity. And the band played Waltzing Matilda as they carried us down from the gangway. But nobody cheered, they just stood there and stared, then they turned their faces away.
So every April my old comrades march, reviving old dreams and past glory. And I push my wheelchair out onto the porch and watch the parade pass before me. The old men march slowly, old bones stiff and sore, tired old men from a forgotten war. And the young people ask, what are they fighting for? And I ask myself the same question. and the band plays waltzing Matilda. The old men respond to the call, but as year follows year,